The trial chamber thrummed with tension as Ilana stood in the center of the stone circle, chains of pure silver wrapped around her wrists. The metal burned against her skin, suppressing the wolf that clawed beneath her human facade. Around her, the Grand Pack Council sat in judgment, 12 alphas from across the territories, their eyes gleaming with predatory interest. Ilana Moretti, Alpha Gregor's voice boomed through the chamber. You stand accused of existing as a wolfless human within Packlands, deceiving us for 3 years. The penalty is exile, or death. James stood among the crowd of witnesses, his jaw clenched so tight he thought his teeth might shatter. He'd known Ilana since she'd arrived at the Silver Pine territory, a quiet refugee from the destroyed Northlands. He'd watched her work in the Pack's archives, had shared countless meals with her, had fallen desperately in love with her careful smile and the sadness that lingered in her storm-gray eyes. He'd never once suspected she was hiding something this dangerous. I never claimed to be wolfless, Ilana said quietly, her voice steady, despite the fear James could see trembling through her frame. I simply never shifted. Because you can't, Gregor snarled, rising from his seat. No true wolf goes 3 years without shifting. You're human, and humans are forbidden in Pack territory without a bond. The other alphas murmured their agreement, a wave of hostility that made James's own wolf bristle protectively. He wanted to leap to her defense, but what could he say? He was barely ranked himself, a beta-class scout with no authority in council matters. I petition for mercy, James called out anyway, his voice cutting through the murmurs. Ilana has served our Pack faithfully. She saved our historical records, helped negotiate treaties. Silence! Gregor's power rolled through the chamber, forcing James to his knees. You have no standing here, pup. Ilana's eyes found James across the chamber, and something ancient and terrible flickered in their depths. It's all right, she said softly. Then, louder, to the council. You want to see my wolf? Fine. But when I show you, remember that you forced this. Remove her chains, one of the female alphas commanded. Let's end this charade. 2 guards approached cautiously, unlocking the silver bonds. The metal clattered to the stone floor, and Ilana rolled her shoulders, her expression distant. James had seen that look before, on soldiers who'd survived impossible battles, on refugees who'd lost everything but kept walking. My pack was destroyed, Ilana said, her voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. Not by war or disease, but by hunters who wanted what we protected. My mother was Luna, keeper of an ancient bloodline. When they came for us, she made me promise to hide, to suppress my nature, to survive. Enough stories, Gregor growled. Shift or... The transformation hit like a shockwave. Ilana's human form, dissolved in a cascade of light so bright that James had to shield his eyes. Power rolled through the chamber. Not the ordinary dominance of an alpha, but something older. Something that resonated in the marrow of his bones and made his wolf press flat in instinctive submission. When the light faded, a wolf stood where Ilana had been. She was massive, easily twice the size of the largest alpha present, but it was her coloring that made the entire chamber fall silent. Pure white, like moonlight given form, with eyes that glowed silver bright. Around her neck, barely visible, beneath thick fur, was a pattern of markings that James recognized from the oldest records in the archives. The lunar crown, the symbol of the ancient Luna bloodline. Every wolf in the chamber, Alpha and Omega alike, dropped to their knees. James felt his own body bow without conscious thought, his wolf howling in recognition of something greater than any pack hierarchy. This wasn't just an alpha. This was Luna, a wolf queen from the bloodlines that predated the modern packs, beings of myth and legend that hadn't walked among them for generations. Gregor's face had gone ashen. Impossible, he whispered. The lunar bloodline was extinct. The white wolf's massive head turned toward him, and when she spoke, her voice resonated in their minds. The true speech of the ancients. Not extinct, hidden, protected. As my mother protected our line and her mother before her, through centuries of war and persecution, She padded forward, and the circle of kneeling wolves parted before her like water. I came here seeking peace, hoping I might live quietly among you, but you forced me to reveal what I am. Her silver gaze swept across the council. So now you will choose. Accept me as Luna, with all the ancient laws and obligations that entails, or I will leave, and you will never know the protection my bloodline has always offered to pack wolves. James's mind reeled. Protection? What protection? Then he remembered fragments from the archives, old stories of how Luna wolves could strengthen pack bonds, heal territorial disputes, even sense and defend against supernatural threats. Except, the female alpha was first to speak, her voice filled with awe. Luna Ilana, we beg your forgiveness for this insult. One by one, the other alphas echoed her words, even Gregor, though his voice was bitter. The white wolf's gaze finally found James, and something warm and achingly familiar filled the mental link between them. And you, James? Can you accept what I am? James raised his head, meeting those luminous silver eyes. I fell in love with a woman who preserved our history and treated everyone with kindness, he said clearly. Learning that she's also a legendary. Luna Wolf just means I've been an idiot for not courting her properly. A sound like laughter rippled through the mental link, and James could swear the massive white wolf was smiling. Then rise, all of you. We have much to discuss about the future of our packs. As James stood, watching Luna Ilana command, the respect of the most powerful wolves in the territories, he couldn't help but smile. He'd come to the trial expecting to lose her. Instead, he'd discovered she was something far more extraordinary than he'd ever imagined, and somehow, against all odds, she'd looked at him like he still mattered. The trial was over. But for James and Ilana, something far more important was just beginning.